What's going on, guys? Joe Troyer here. Let's get the camera set up so you guys can see me. Let's see. There we go. All right, all right. All right, if you guys can see me right here, my crazy mug here, and you can see my screen, let me know in the chat. Give me a 1, give me a 2, give me something. That would be great. What's up, Scott? Good to see you. Roger Matthews, what's up? What's up? All right, fantastic. So you guys can see me. How's my audio? Is it okay? Rick, what's up, Rick Arlen? Good to see you. Good to have you. Appreciate you being here. We'll get started officially here in about 6 minutes. So we can talk about whatever you guys want, man. We can talk about Katy Perry. We can talk about cats. We can talk about dogs. I don't care. So any off-topic questions you guys have been dying to ask me? What's my birthday? How old am I? I don't know. Let me know in the chat. Happy to answer anything. Maybe have a question you weren't sure belongs in the AMA. Let me know in the chat. Happy to let you know where it goes. You too, brother. Thanks, man. Perfect audio. All right, fantastic. Cool. Where are you guys from? Where are you guys at right now? Let me know. That would be great. Scott says, what mic is that? Sounds great. So this mic is really hard to get. I don't like it because it's wired, but the audio is, like you said, very good typically. It's called a Logitech G330, and these things aren't made anymore. Occasionally, I'll be able to find one on like Amazon, but whenever I can find them, I'll buy like 3 or 4 of them. So definitely love these mics. They fit well, and the sound quality is good. I do have a couple other mics that are more traditional, like podcasting mics or things like that. Problem, obviously, if somebody walks into the room, right, and says something, and I'm on the webinar, all of you guys can hear it. Background noise, stuff like that. So it's a lot easier just to throw one of these on and make sure that you guys got good audio. All right, good question. So Roger says, what are the current products you offer? And what are your focuses, I guess, really, Roger, I think should be the main question, right? So these days, my focuses are very different than they have been in the past. I think it's probably okay to tell you guys, let the cat out of the bag a little bit. One of my agencies is currently in the process of me exiting. So that's really, really exciting. And I think for you guys, I think the biggest lesson there, let's see if I can make my screen a little brighter. I think the biggest lesson that you guys can take away from my agency selling, is that you gotta stop being the face. If you are the brand of your local digital agency or any type of digital agency or really any business, selling it is going to be hard. Exiting is going to be hard. Me exiting this business is going to be very, very simple because nothing relies on me. Frankly, in the last 6 months, I have done like literally little to no work in that business, and it still continued to run on autopilot. Everybody got paid. All the team members were able to do their job. Sales happened, customers stayed. None of it was reliant on me. So the big takeaway there, don't be the brand yourself. So my focuses right now are interesting. My focuses are very interesting. So I have been working behind the scenes on Cinewire and a huge revamp of Cinewire, frankly, for about the last year and a half. I have dumped like literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars into Cinewire, and I haven't been able to share it with you guys. So that is a huge focus on me. Cinewire's tagline has always been the ultimate content syndication platform. And by all means, I think we hit that just with how many accounts we could publish to, the amount of posts that we were doing. But I believe the next version of Cinewire, the next version that you guys see, is really going to really nail that tagline of the ultimate content syndication platform. And I guess to kind of give you guys a little bit of a hint, think if this then that, or think Zapier, but a whole lot smarter recipes, a whole lot smarter actions, right? So you can say things like, take this video, transcribe the text, and then take that text and put it on my site, right? And then you can just ring all of these together and attach all of them. So it's like, after that, I want you to publish it on Twitter. After that, I want you to publish it here. I want you to do this with it. Then a day later, I want you to do this, and then that. And you can make some very, very complex recipes, if you will, that you can stitch together. So some crazy content repurposing type of stuff that nobody in the space is really doing manually. So we're going to be crushing that. Will those that have Cinewire be grandfathered in or have to buy again? You guys will be grandfathered in. You should know the question to that, Connie, but I appreciate you asking. We'll take care of everybody that's grandfathered in, obviously. Cool. All right, so we got 2 or 3 minutes here till the top of the hour. And I'm just kind of midway through a long explanation to Roger, talking about kind of what our current products are and what I'm working on, kind of what I'm focused on. I kind of took as an angle of the question too. So we talked about Cinewire. Secondly, and we had somebody talk about this on the YouTube channel. We're kind of saying that it seems like a lot of people are down on private blog networks. It's been my recommendation for quite some time that you guys don't use them unless you really understand the risks associated with them. For me, I'm in like long-term mode. I'm not going to roll out of bed for like profit tomorrow. I want profit long-term. I don't want to do a whole bunch of work just to have it only, make me money for a month and then it's gone. It's just not worth it. I want that long-term leverage that just keeps building, and I'm okay with it going slower. Right? I'd rather make $100,000 a month in a year and it be scalable and repeatable than make 100 grand tomorrow and have to keep doing that and working for that every single day. So I think private blog networks are much like that, right? Where you can have fast results, crazy fast results. By all means, you get rankings in Google, you can make a shitload of money using private blog networks. Don't get me wrong. It's just the risk associated with that. So when you go and you look, there's a case study, for example, on Digital Triggers of me kind of exposing one of the sites that I built with a PBN and showing you guys how long it kind of took to rank, and then how long it actually ranked for before Google slapped it because of the PBN use, and how gray hat we were with it, or even black hat. And it made a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. I think that case study was like 60 grand, I want to say, or something like that. But then it was over and it was dead and it was back to the drawing board. So I think as long as you're aware of that, that's fine. But for me, I'm focused on long-term stuff. So one of the big focuses this year was we put out a backlink course that was all about building backlinks in a white hat way that is very scalable and very sustainable. Right? A process that you can build and like literally have it keep working for you every single day. That's white hat, right? And to get you amazing quality links. So that was Backlink Outreach Masterclass beta. And so that's going to be a big focus that you'll see throughout the end of this year, starting again, and then throughout next year as we reopen that program. Other focuses. The sales mastermind is always a focus for us, teaching agencies our systems and processes and really letting people in to see what we've done, giving them our exact scripts, right? Letting them see how we structured our company, letting you guys kind of leverage the training that we have with our sales trainer. So that will be relaunched again as well. So the sales mastermind will be coming back through fruition. But right now with the changes and everything happening and me potentially walking away from the current agency, I don't want to like relaunch and then like tell you guys halfway through it, yeah, guys, I'm actually sold, the agency, I'm out of here, because I really do share with you guys what it is that we're doing inside of our agency, the current process, right, for sales, and the current script, like the most latest one. If we made changes to it last week, you're getting the updates from this week, right? And so we like to share with you like all of the current information, not something that we built like 2 years ago and we're just selling you access to it right now. So I hope that makes sense. Connie says, we love you, Joe. You're so different than others. I appreciate that feedback. Okay, cool. All right, guys, without further ado, thank you so much for joining me on today's AMA, the Ask Me Anything session. It is 4 minutes past the top of the hour, so without further ado, I want to go ahead and get things kicked off. As long as we have time at the end, I like to try to make a couple of minutes so that I can hang with you guys, answer any lingering questions that you guys have. And so it's not just AMA and then see you later. So we'll try to do that today. I try to always do that as long as we have some time. So a little bit of house cleaning here. I am doing a giveaway today. So these things are awesome. Give me a 1 if you guys have used these before. The American Express travel privileges. So these are $250 each. I got 4 of them, so $1,000. I'm going to give away at the end of the webinar. I can tell you guys your participation in the webinar is definitely going to help today, right? You being interactive and you guys following along will definitely help in you getting yourselves these. Let's see, we got a couple people. Yeah, we've used them. Okay, sweet. So these, I love, honestly, I like just seeing them because when I see them, it means vacation. And I know that travel for me is super important. Me getting a break, me getting rest, me hanging with my family, right, is like a breath of fresh air into the business and into my work ethic. And me coming back from vacations is like an amazing thing, even if it's just a long weekend. And my business just, thrives because of it, because I'm at my best. So I know nobody can take too many vacations, I don't think. At least I haven't gotten there yet. So I thought it would be cool to give away some of these to you guys today. So we will be giving those away at the end of the webinar. So one thing that I've noticed real quick, a little bit of just housekeeping before we jump in, is we've been getting a lot of messages in the AMA form, the Ask Me Anything form, asking for replays for a training, saying somebody forgot their password and how do I log into this members area or that members area. We had somebody yesterday say in there when I was reviewing and prepping for today, saying that they'd like to cancel a product. So I just want to make sure that it's uber clear with everybody that the Ask Me Anything form are the questions that are going to get answered on this webinar right here, right now, right? This is not for where's my replay link, where's my login or billing. If it becomes that, this call is going to suck. You guys aren't going to get on it, and I'm not going to get on it either, all right? So make sure that your AMA or your AMA questions go in the AMA form. These should be like consultative type of questions. Joe, I'm trying to rank this customer in Google Maps, and it's just not happening. Here's the information I got. What would you suggest next? Very appropriate question, right? I got this client. I'm running an AdWords campaign for him. What ideas do you have on lowering the average, cost for a phone call? And you give me access. Very, very appropriate. Happy to help you in that way, right? What this call cannot be is, Joe, give me access to this replay, give me a login to that, and give me, and please cancel my subscription or start me on a subscription for this product, okay? So if that's super clear, do me a favor and just give me a 1 in the chat. That would be freaking fantastic. All right, 1. All right, cool. So before we jump in officially, I will pull up the first question, but I heard this awesome quote that I wanted to start today's call out with. How many of you guys have thought about changing life in some direction or other, whether it's personal, business, and you've thought one day, right? One day that'll happen, right? We all have. So a little play on words is to switch those around, right? So instead of one day, right, make today day 1. Day 1, you're going to change that. day one of your new habit, day one of your new life, day one of things being different in your life, right? And guys, if I've learned anything over the last 6 to 8 months, it's that anything is possible if you just start changing your habits every single day. Being accountable to myself, my weight. I personally lost 50 plus pounds, and it all starts with day one, right? And making those little changes every single day, every single week. So a little bit of encouragement there for you guys, and I hope something that you guys will stick with, or that you guys will really think about, right? So one day question mark, or is it day one? Hopefully it's day one. So good stuff. All right, so the first question says, with your training on Google video ads, how does it compare to doing ads in Facebook? Is Facebook worth doing? So been doing some training behind the scenes for some products that I promoted, and I did it as a bonus. We'll probably be releasing those programs publicly, probably again towards the end of the year or beginning of next year. So they won't just be bonuses anymore. So if you're wondering what that is, it'll probably be available before the end of the year. But what I talk about is the 7 starter PPC campaigns that every business should be doing, like literally every business, from your agency to an info product to a software company to a local business. These are 7 starter campaigns that are all very, very, very low budget and high, crazy effective rate. Right? And again, they're campaigns that everybody should be running. So of the 7 starter PPC campaigns that we run, okay, we do retargeting and remarketing, right? So once somebody sees your ads, we start showing, right, your ads everywhere. So all of a sudden you go from them not knowing about you to they click on your website, right? And now everywhere they look, they can't stop seeing your brand and your face and how amazing of a company that you are. We can control the narrative of what people think about us. Okay, it's really freaking amazing. Okay, and this is just one of the types of ads that we run. So with remarketing though, you want to run on literally every platform that you can, right? You want to run on Google Display Network. You want to run, if your audience is on Twitter, you want to run on Twitter. If your audience is on LinkedIn, you want to be running on LinkedIn, right? So you want to think about where your audience is, where your customers are, and you definitely want to remarket on every platform that you possibly can. So I hope that helped answer your question. So Scott asks, next up, if you were to start your business today, what 3 services would you focus on? All right, so what 3 services would you focus on? So I took this question a little bit further to help give me some clarity and also to hopefully help give you some clarity. So for me, I believe that everybody should have 2 to 3 core offerings that they offer. And by core offering, it's obviously a service, but by core offering, you should be charging at least $1,000 a month for you to do the service. Okay. And as an agency, folks, most of this should be profit. I'm not talking about offering AdWords and having the total budget be $1,000 a month where you got to pay for AdWords and you get your profit out of the 1,000. No, right? It's $1,000 a month minimum. Okay. With most of this being profit for you. At the end of the day, if most of that isn't profit for you, how are you going to be able to get a customer good results? Right? If there's not enough profit in it, if there's not enough money in it, you're not going to be sticking around very long to help that customer. Hey, Joe Troyer. Hey, Frankie Allen. What's up, buddy? So the 3 core offerings that I would be running is retargeting, okay, on all the platforms for customers. Again, controlling their brand, their messaging, their offers, what people are saying about them, and focusing on converting prospects and customers into first-time business and or repeat business, okay? I would also focus on Google My Business and local organic SEO. Okay, long term, nothing is going to get a better return on investment out of any marketing that they do more than Google My Business and local organic SEO. It's just not, right? When you spend money on a TV ad and you run that ad for a month, let's say it costs you 20 grand to run that TV ad. When it's done for the month, it's done. There is no long-term ROI that you get from that. Okay. Google My Business and local organic SEO is more like an investment, right? You're investing every month in building up those rankings and beating out your competition. By all means, if you stop, are you going to over time kind of slip? Yes. But it's the only platform where you're going to get residual, right? You're going to have residual momentum built up. Okay. And last but not least, folks, for me, the third service that I would be offering is AdWords. Okay. And again, this would be AdWords management as a service. And my minimum to do this would be $1,000 a month. So to be fair, okay, Scott's question was this, but it's also 3 parts. So I broke it into 3 sections. All right. So Scott's next question then is, if you were to start your business today, what niches would you focus on? And this is a loaded question. I believe that this industry, selling information and training to agencies and you guys on this call, has talked a lot about like the riches are in the niches. And I agree with that statement. But there's also been courses put out for just specific niches. And they release this niche, this niche, this niche, this niche. And it's like always like, this is the latest and greatest, most amazing niche ever. Personally, I don't believe in that bullshit. I just don't. If I were to start my business today, a brand new business, a local marketing business, and I had to pick a niche to focus on, what I would really be thinking about is first and foremost, niches that I enjoy working with. I got to wake up and want to go to work. If I don't, life sucks, right? Like it's just not fun. Okay. So first things first, niches that I enjoy working with. Okay. For me, guys, you see me, t-shirt, shorts, sandals. I don't even have shoes on right now, right? Like this is my work attire. If that's not okay, I'm not going to be working with the niche. This is me. This is who I am, and I'm not going to fake it. I've been the suit guy. I've been the tie guy. It's not me. So second thing I would look for are niches where I can naturally ask for a higher ticket price point and easily show my worth. So not just that I can ask for more and get more, right? But that instead of getting $1,000 a month minimum, that I can get $3,000 a month minimum, but I can also very easily show my worth, right? That means I can very easily deliver them a return on investment. Why? Because if I like working with the niche, if I can get paid more money and I can bring them customers and show my return, I'm going to be in that business for a very long time, and customers are going to stick around in that business for a very long time. So I think those are really the 2 big things that you need to be asking yourself when you're thinking about niche selection and what type of businesses am I going to serve in my agency. All right, so last but not least, Scott's third question in his huge freaking question in the Google form. Love you, Scott, buddy. If you were to start your business today, what 3 Tripwire products would you use for lead generation? So I told you guys that I would do retargeting, right? I would do SEO and GMB as a service. So that's the second. And then third, I would do AdWords. So I think when you're thinking about your Tripwires, you have to think about, if I'm going to give something away or do it for low cost on the front end, I think that most people are just so obsessed with this Tripwire offer that they don't think about it being a symbiotic relationship with the next offer, right? That they don't think about how they connect to the next offer. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes, right? So if SEO is going to be, and Google My Business is going to be a service that I like to push, one of my front end offers should be something that naturally leads somebody to wanting SEO and Google My Business service on a monthly retainer from me, right? And somebody that, getting somebody to be thinking about retargeting, that would need my help, right? As a Tripwire. And somebody needing help with Google Ads, right? So my Tripwire I should be asking myself, like, how do I set myself up with a Tripwire where when they take me up on this front end offer, which they can't refuse, that almost everyone, if not everyone's going to buy my follow-up product, right? My upsell, which is one of my core services. So For tripwires, just being completely open, honest, these would be my 3 tripwires, okay? How do I know that? Well, I'm in the middle, again, of making some changes, thinking about a new agency, and this is what has been on my mind, all right? So first and foremost, initial retargeting setup, right? So Tripwire is simple. You're going after people, telling them that they're not doing all of their retargeting, right? You're not doing YouTube. You're not doing Google. Why? Because I don't see the pixels on your site. They're not there. I'll set it up for you. Here's some results that we've got. I'll do it for free, right? And then we'd upsell into a monthly program of us running the retargeting on their behalf to ensure that they're getting the best results that they possibly can. Give me a 2 if that makes sense, everybody, real quick. Yeah. Okay, cool. So then second, right, again, one of the services that I want to provide is local SEO and Google My Business optimization as a package, right? So I would go after people, right, offering as a tripwire a Google My Business makeover or overhaul. Why? So I can get them thinking about Google My Business, showing them all the opportunity that they have in Google My Business, showing them that there's issues with their Google My Business and that I can help them, right? I help them. They're not going to rank overnight just from me optimizing their Google My Business, right? Now I can talk to them about how we can actually get it ranking in the 3-pack. Last but not least, the third tripwire for my agency would be what I'd coin something like a reputation 0 to hero program, where essentially the pitch would be, this is your market inside of Google Maps, right? And inside of Google, when we do a search phrase for whatever market they're in, service in Miami, we show the competitors in the 3-pack or in the map pack, we show how many reviews they have, and we compare the prospect that we're going after and trying to help to the ones in the map pack. And the goal would be to be competitive or to beat the competitors in the map pack as fast as possible with our quote unquote reputation 0 to hero program. If you have no idea how to do that and how you get a ton of reviews very quickly, be sure to look on the channel, as the last 2 AMAs, I have talked about this in great detail. So Scott, I hope you enjoyed the answer to this question, as well as, I got to keep pushing it, man, the last 2 as well. And dude, I'm just razzing you. Thanks for all the questions. All right, next up, what apps, methods, and procedures do you use to keep yourself organized on a daily basis? So thanks, KJ, for the great question. So I'm going to talk to you guys, if it's cool, about business and what I use, but I'm also going to talk about personal as well, because I think that they're both important. And if you have one under control, most likely the other one's going to be under control too. Okay, so for business, first and foremost, I use the Pomodoro technique. As a business owner of any kind, whether you run an agency, you run an e-com business, right? You run a local business, it doesn't matter. As an entrepreneur, there's always a million things that we have to get done, right? And there's always people texting us, emailing us, calling us, slacking us, whatever you use, right, for communication. They're all going off all day long, okay? So the Pomodoro technique has really helped me. If you haven't heard about that, there's apps for it. I'm sure there's probably even books on it. But basically, you take cycles of uninterrupted head down time, right? And you don't let any distractions get to you, okay? And you work on one task or a task until that timer is up, okay? So I'll make a list of priorities, and then I'll literally plug in, I'll turn off everything, I'll put my phone on Do Not Disturb, I'll put my computer on Do Not Disturb, and I just focus on that thing for 20 minutes. So after you're done, you focus, you take a quick break. Usually I just like go to the bathroom, get some water if I don't have any, right? And then you do another cycle of head down time. And basically then you start playing with how many cycles you put together before you take a longer break. And I would start like small with that, right? So do like 2 sessions and then take a 15-minute break. Do 3 sessions of 20 minutes, then take a 15-minute break, and see how long you can push that focus uninterrupted time. Because I'm telling you guys, the longer that you can get it, truly where your mind is focused and you aren't being interrupted. The longer you can pull that time, the more you're obviously going to be able to accomplish. Okay, and the more you're going to be able to zone out and block out the things that aren't important. So this is a great technique that you can work on every day, getting better at too. I see a lot of people talking about Pomodoro, but they don't talk about getting better at Pomodoro, right? And so I think every day we should be focused on getting better at things, not just do it for 20 minutes, take a break, and just keep doing that. Like that repetition is the end. Like just do that forever. Like I want to get better at things every single day. And with the Pomodoro technique, you definitely can. Next up, we use Basecamp. My entire team uses Basecamp. I have tried so many project management tools, and at the end of the day, what's worked the best for me is Basecamp because of its simplicity. I needed the ability for some basic projects, right? I need projects and I need to-do lists, and that's really all that I need in a project management tool. Okay, so for me, it's all about Basecamp. When I do other shit, I run into problems, right? When I try to get fancy, when I try to spend a week creating this crazy slick process and flow, yes, I've done it, spent a week multiple times trying to really map things out and get it in an amazing process, right? Shit hits the floor, it never works, and then it's back to Basecamp, and I just wasted months of my time. Frankie says, what about Trello? So for me personally, I need a little bit more than Trello, right? Having 5, 6, 7 boards or something like that, I don't know. I do better with Basecamp myself, but I do know quite a few people that do very well, run amazing businesses with Trello. So I would say the simpler the better, because if they're not simple, it's going to take forever for you to actually get used to, figure out how it works, and then I'm betting that you won't actually adopt to it, meaning you won't actually use it long term. So I would rather you just use Basecamp and be off and running from day one, right? It's that simple, and it's that simple for your team to get to. So next up, talking about my phone. And they have a desktop app too, but Wunderlist is an awesome to-do app that I use. Again, it's so simple. Think of it as a to-do list application, obviously. I have a iPhone and Android app. I'm sure they have an Android. And then they also have a desktop app. So I use it on both. The thing I love about Wunderlist is that it's not just one to-do list. You have lists of to-do lists. And I found that for me, if I just have one big long to-do list, it gets really, really hard for me to prioritize my to-dos. And I see all of the to-dos, right? And it's like, great, I have 176 to-dos, right? It's very hard to get excited about doing 176 to-dos, right? It's fuck me. Seriously, I don't. So I can knock off 5 today? This is going to take forever. What's the point? Okay, so I can feel lost in to-do lists. So I like Wunderlist because it helps me segment the to-dos. And so my lists of to-dos are this indented list here. So I have one just called to-dos, and these are only things that I can do and that I need to do. Okay, only things that I can do and I need to do, not things I need to outsource and figure out, just things that only I can do and I have to get done. These are highest level priority things, right? Next up is learning. Okay, so this is things that I want to learn about, I want to read about, training I want to go through, etc. This could be business type of stuff. This could be personal. Okay, it's kind of a mix of both. Okay, but when I'm on the go, and somebody says, hey, I just read this book and it was amazing, you should definitely check it out. It's like, shit, where's that go? And it was like, oh, it's going in Evernote. Oh, it's going in Notes. Oh, it's going to go in Basecamp. And the shit was just everywhere. All right, so I consolidated it now, and it's just sitting inside of my Wunderlist app inside of a list called Learning. Okay, next up is personal. I think it's important to have time management and a to-do list for your personal stuff as well. So I have a personal list that's just about me, and then I have a personal list that's with my wife and I on it. And last but not least, much like the learning, I found that I would think of stuff. I'd be at the gym, I'd be driving, I'd be in a meeting, somebody would text me something, and it would cue something in my brain saying, I need to have somebody on my team. I need to have Alex, Ryan, I need to have Chandra, right? Do X task. And it was like, it would just hit me, right? In the shower, right? Wherever those ideas hit you, right? They'd hit me. And then again, like some of those would end up like in the notes app. Some of them would end up not going anywhere. Some of them were ending up in Wunderlist. Some of them were actually going directly into Basecamp. And so I just standardized that now and I actually have a list inside of Wunderlist for Basecamp. So everything goes into Wunderlist. Okay, then from here, it goes elsewhere, right? If it's something for my team, right, it's going to go in the Basecamp list. Okay, and then every single day, I take things from the Basecamp list and I assign them and prioritize them inside of Basecamp. Last but not least is Hubstaff. So I am in the middle of moving to Hubstaff right now. And I am freaking loving it. So it is a like screenshot app, right? It is like a productivity app. So your teammates or your team can, you can as the business owner, see how much they're working, see how much they're working on specific projects. You can see like how productive they actually are. Are they like moving their mouse a lot or have they been sitting on Facebook for the last 6 hours? Tells you actually a breakdown of the apps that they're using and how long. But at the end of the day, it's a great reporting tool, but I love the automation that's built into it. So I have it configured right now. So if a team member doesn't show up on time within 15 minutes, I get an email. I get a notification. Okay, so it's helped me be more productive, but not have to micromanage my team either. Right? I know when something happens instead of I got to go into Hubstaff, or somebody on my team does. That's what's happened in the past. Somebody on my team would have to log into one of the applications every week and audit everybody's time, right? And then put together, right, like a Google sheet for me that then I would approve or Ben would approve, somebody would approve, right? Before then it could actually be paid out. And so it's just like all these things that we have to do in order to just run the business. Like screw that. So Hubstaff, the thing that I like is so much of it is like automated. You get alerts when something happens that you need to know about that you want to set up, and you can set up automatic budget tracking and payroll. Okay, so Hubstaff, I am freaking digging it. And I would highly, highly recommend Hubstaff. Oh my gosh, I need that. So guys, I signed up as an affiliate, and there's a link in the last email talking about Hubstaff. Probably what I'm going to do after I'm all into Hubstaff is I'll probably write like a little checklist or a little guide on like what the most important things are that I use with Hubstaff. So if you pick it up through me, and when I see a bunch of you guys do it, I'll give you guys a little guide whenever it gets done, probably end of next week or something if you guys jump into Hubstaff. So loving Hubstaff. All right, so these are all business things. This is all, for the most part, right? There's my wife, Al, and my personal list inside of Wunderlist, but this is all really business. So those of you guys that haven't been on an AMA, obviously I look very different. Lost about 50 pounds, and I really got in control of my life. And it all started by really taking very little steps and just over time applying more pressure to those steps, right? And so I want to share with you guys just what has worked for me, some things that I do every day, some things that I track, the KPIs that I track, the key performance indicators, the things that like keep me on track and keep me moving. I promised 2 webinars ago that I will do a much more in-depth training for you guys, just sharing like in-depth what I've been up to the last 6 months in terms of my health, how I lost that 50 pounds, the things I eat, the things I supplement with, what I'm doing in terms of working out. But I thought high level, I'll give you guys some things now that you guys can run with. Again, this isn't meant to be preachy, right? But you guys value my opinion, and we are always talking about business. always, always, always. And I think that if you get your personal life under control, you conquer your personal life, you're going to conquer your business life too. And I think that that's never really talked about, right? It's always just so one-sided, which I think is bullshit. So I think that we should be talking about both sides. And do you have to go do the advice that I tell you or what's worked for me? No. But this is what's worked for me, so I want to share with you guys what has worked well. True that. Thanks, Dave. All right, so personal management apps. So for me, direct correlation with me gaining weight and me losing weight is whether or not I'm stepping on the scales and checking my weight on a daily basis. Right? This is like the most important key performance indicator ever. Right? Like, am I going up in weight and I'm trying to lose weight? Like, oh shit, I need to correct something. Right? It's like that signal every day. Am I doing good? Yeah, awesome. I freaking crushed it. I got to do it again the next day, right? And so the scales and tracking that. Okay, so I can track my scales, and I'll try to show you. I don't know how. So I use the weight app or the health app on the iPhone, and specifically the weight section of it. But guys, check this out. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Let me know if you can see it. Do you see that? Give me a 1 if you can see that graph in the chat, and you can see that sliding down. No glare. Turn the brightness down. Let's see. Oh. How about now? Hold it closer. No, it's all white. All right, I'll try closer. Yes, yes, better, bingo. Yes, yes. All right. So guys, this is what happens when you start to track things, right? So for me, every day is about being better than the day before and the day before that, right? If I go off the rails one day, I have a bad day, I cheat, I eat things that I don't want to eat, I'm not supposed to eat, right? I see it on the scales and it goes up and I go, motherfucker, it's not going to happen again tomorrow. I'm going to be better tomorrow. And so for me, it's a game with myself about the constant improvement and me being better every day than I was the day before. Okay. And when I look back over time, okay, when I've gained weight, when I've lost weight, every time that I've had success, right, I was tracking the scales. Okay, start losing weight when I start tracking, I stop tracking, I start gaining weight. Okay, so for me, I'm committed to literally every day weighing myself. Okay, next up, so once I started getting on the scales, I started looking into diets. Okay, and what can I do besides just tracking and trying to eat well? How can I track better, right? How can I track my macros and what I'm eating? And I had to decide on what type of setup in my macros I was going to go after. And guys, I've lost weight before, but not like this. And what I mean is I've always done extreme things to lose weight. Have you guys ever heard about the HCG diet? So this is like HCG diet is, to me, guys, is fucking ridiculous. You eat like 500 calories a day max. You get like a piece of chicken that's like this big, right? And a little thing of vegetables, right? You take these drops and like literally you're starving yourself. And so I did the HCG diet multiple times, and they're just extreme. It's not it's a diet. It's not a way of life. Right? It's not that every day you're getting better. It's that you starve yourself for a month and then you go back to eating like normal. So what happens? You gain all the weight back, right? So for me, I found the keto diet. And for me, I love keto because it's not a diet to me. Keto for me is a way of life. I feel fucking amazing on keto. Okay? I have always been a night person, never a morning person, and I have always felt like a fog in the morning, and it would take me an hour and a half to 2 hours just to wake the hell up every day. Right? Still don't like waking up, but as soon as I get out of bed, I'm ready to go. I don't even need coffee. And my level, right, is where I'm at right now, right? It's no big ramp process, like immediately ready, right? You give me 2 minutes, drink a glass of water, go to the bathroom, I'm at this stage. So keto diet has lifted a huge fog off of my brain. My brain feels amazing. I feel amazing. And for me, again, it's not really a diet. It's really a way of life. And I say that because I can eat keto forever, right? I can eat a ribeye and some amazing greens, no problem. I can eat some fish and some greens for my next meal, no problem, right? Like, and I can eat that every day. Can eat some chicken thighs or chicken wings and some greens, no problem. Okay, all of the meals are things that I can do every day, and I'm not going to feel like I'm dieting. Okay, so that's why I mean, instead of HCG and a diet and like crazy starving yourself, that's what I think of a diet these days, right? HCG, or I'm sorry, keto for me is just a way of life. And not only do I feel better with my brain and like this fog just being gone, but obviously, like I've lost 50 pounds doing it too. So somebody says no carbs, then very, very little carbs. So I do 10 grams of carbs a day or less. I'm very nuts with carbs. Um, I I didn't start that way, right? But again, it's a constant progression, right? So I jumped on the keto diet, found some some like macro generators that'll tell you how many calories you should eat and how much should be protein, right? How much should come from some from fat, and I put those into this keto diet app here, okay? And I track my macros every day, right? If I don't track my weight every day, I can't control it, right? If I'm trying to cut or whether I'm trying to bulk, right? I need to be tracking. Okay, so the scales is one method. The second method, though, is my macros, what I eat. So I punch in there what I eat every day. Okay, so for me, I always do this. Okay, I do this the night before. So when I'm laying in bed, the day's over, I plan my meal for the next day. I plan what I'm going to eat for the next day. Why? So that I don't have to think about it the next day, right? It's the end of the day, right? I'm just laying in bed doing nothing anyways. The TV's probably on, hanging out with my wife, right? I'll figure out what I'm going to eat for the next day. Next up is somebody asked about cholesterol. So go on Reddit, go on Facebook, join some groups about keto, and you will see people that have had crazy cholesterol numbers, right? Go on keto, 2 months later, they're great. If you had people, you'll see like literally hundreds and hundreds, thousands of case studies, people being on statin and having diabetes and right, and literally 2 months, 3 months into the keto diet, don't have to use them at all. So for me, I'm not a doctor, but I wouldn't be scared about cholesterol if I were you, Dave, based upon the sheer volume of ridiculous case studies that are out there. Okay. Next up is Zero. So there's an app called Zero. So probably 3 years ago now, I got introduced to fasting. And me doing fasting, doing nothing else, I felt great. I was doing 16/8 intermittent fasting. So what that means is your eating window, when you allow yourself to eat, is 8 hours. The rest of the time, the 16 hours, you don't eat. Okay. If you think about it right now, give me a 1 if you already follow a 16/8 or pretty damn close fasting schedule. Yeah, you're freaking sleeping, or you don't eat breakfast in the morning and you don't eat late, right? Like you're already basically fasting, right? Like you're already doing intermittent fasting. So, intermittent fasting, I loved. For me, intermittent fasting kind of wore off a little bit. After I did it for a long time, I didn't feel the effects anymore. So I didn't know that you can do more than 16-8 though. I didn't know that like you could fast for longer. Nobody was talking about this then, or at least nobody that I knew. So I still fast to this day, right? But I fast for a much longer period of time. I'm coming out of a big cut, me dropping weight. Now I'm all about putting lean muscle on. When I was really cutting, I would fast for 24 hours a day. So I would like literally fast. I would eat at like 6 p.m. I'd eat from 6 to 7:30, let's say, and then I'd just repeat the process, right? So the next day, right, I would have an hour, 2-hour eating window, and I would fast for 22 to 24 hours a day. Okay, I'm coming out of that now. I'm not fasting quite so extreme. Right now, it's typically about 20 hours, but sometimes up to 24, just based upon what's happening in my life for the day. Okay, fasting is freaking amazing. If you guys are already, I see a lot of people in the chat saying that they're doing it. Play with it, manipulate it. What I mean by that is try to go an hour longer, try to go half an hour longer, right? Keep playing with that number. Okay, don't just do it, feel good with it, and then a year later it stops working and you're like, what the hell, right? Play with that, push it further. It is freaking amazing. The difference that I feel going 20 hours to 24 hours is incredible. And this has been one of the keys for me. When I did the Keto Diet app and I implemented fasting at about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I would be like uncontrollable. I would have so much fucking energy, right? I would just be like having a conversation and be like this, right? Be like kind of dancing around, jumping around. Like I had to do something. It was uncontrollable. Okay. So between the keto diet and fasting, I literally had to do something. I had to get off my ass. Okay. So I downloaded this app called Couch to 5K. Guys, I hate running. Oh, let's say I used to hate running. Fucking hated it. If you said, Joe, you run a mile and back, I'll give you $1,000, I would have said, I'll give you $1,000, right? That would have been my attitude. You couldn't pay me. Like quite literally, you couldn't pay me. Okay. But the combination of, for me, the keto diet and fasting gave me all of this pent up energy that I had to do something with. Okay. So I downloaded the Couch to 5K app. So for any of you guys that have done this, it's so simple. It's like, literally, it's like walk for 5 minutes. You walk for 5 minutes. Then it's like jog for 15 seconds. Jog for 15 seconds, you get to stop again. Right? That's literally where I was at when I started. Okay, progress about 2 weeks into the program. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It was a great mental challenge for me, right? It stepped me up over time. It wasn't like, dude, you're fat, you're 50 pounds overweight, go run 3 miles. I couldn't have done that, right? So this like progression, again, where every day or every other day, you're doing a little bit more and you're getting better over time. This was huge for me. You're playing a game. It's like a video game inside your head. Think about, guys, just in the last 2 slides, how much I've talked about the mental game that you're playing with yourself, right? And that progression every day. So 2 weeks into Couch to 5K, I'm like, screw this. I'm doing Couch to 10K, which obviously means instead of 3 miles, roughly, I'm doing 6 miles. 2 weeks in, I go from I hate running to I'm going to run over 6 miles. So this program I'm done with. Can run a 10K, can average between an 11 and 12 minute mile for the entire 10K. So at about 3 months, so this was 14 weeks, the Couch to 10K program. Okay, both of these combined, really. They're just the same app and one goes longer. So this was a 14-week program. Again, I just took it day by day. At about week 12, I saw the end in sight. week 11, week 12, I saw the end in sight with the couch to 10K. I was like, all right, now I'm in shape. Now I have some endurance, right? But I was still freaking weak and I'm getting skinny as shit. I went from wearing a 38 size pant to wearing a 30. Crazy, right? So I'm like, dude, I need to bulk up. I hated how skinny I was getting, but I knew I needed to lean down as far as I freaking could. And in 3 months, guys, I went from 28% body fat to 18% body fat. Pretty crazy. So I jumped on this program. And this program follows what I've been talking to you guys about. It's a game. Every day that you work out, for me, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every session I see progression. Okay? I might not start lifting the most weight, right? I'm going to start lifting very little. I started with the bar with all of my exercises, right, in this program. But guess what? Every workout, you add weight. Every workout. So I got my form amazing, right? I've had multiple personal trainers actually just watch me and give me feedback on my form, and they're all like, your form's great, right? So I'm doing it right, and every single session, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm adding weight every single time. So I see progression. I did it. Every single session. So this has been what has made a huge freaking difference in my personal life. And if I were you guys, I'd recommend taking a screenshot. Even if you pick up 1 or 2 of these, I know that they will make a huge difference in your life. The other thing that I work on right now, kind of taking things to another level and tracking to another level, is I track my blood with this Precision Extra device. So it's a little thumb prick. And daily I track, usually daily, I track my blood glucose and my ketones. So one thing that's a little different, I mean, there's some things, some general rule of thumb. There's some general rules of thumbs. Yeah, that's weird. General rule of thumb does apply with spiking your blood glucose with certain sugars, but there's all kinds of alternatives out there these days. And keto is like freaking getting crazy. There's so many people with diabetes in this country and all over the world that are having amazing results. Like keto is just going nuts. So there's all these new sweeteners. There's all these new methods to sweeten things that aren't supposed to trigger, right, your blood glucose. So for me, I like knowing if it does, right? Like keto has been amazing for me. And if I'm going to eat something, I don't want to feel guilty about it, right? Because I don't have carbs. All my carbs come from vegetables, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm eating a big ass freaking ribeye every night, right? Like, or every other night. And lots of fatty food, but I'm fine without carbs. Okay, so for me, what I'm doing now is really trying to understand, right, like what problems I have with sugar, what's good for me and what's not good for me, and it will differ, and it will be different depending on you. Okay, so that's kind of like 10 levels in though. I would not recommend anybody start this from now, right? It just doesn't really make sense. So again, as promised, we will do, like, I'll do a full training and really talk to you guys about this and what I eat and what my meal plans look like and how I would do this, how I would repeat the process. And I'll show you guys a whole lot more as well. All right, so next up, we got a question here. Eros asks, how can I run Gmail ads effectively? All right, so Gmail ads. So really for me, there's only 2 types of Gmail ads that we run, right? And these are the ads that show up in the promotions and in the social tabs, as of right now at least, inside of Gmail. So there's 2 types of campaigns that you can run. I don't think there's any other, right? First is retargeting, right? So all that you're trying to do with that is convert existing prospects into buyers. And when I think about retargeting for businesses in general, not just Gmail, I want to know, and I'm making a mental note in my head, if the business runs like a funnel, right? Is it an info product? Is it software? If so, right, like I'll advertise at all the drop-off points. Like somebody came, but they didn't opt in. I'm going to advertise and push people to the opt-in. They opted in, they landed on the VSL, and they didn't buy. I'm going to push people back to the VSL, right? And so what you would want to do is strategically advertise all the drop-off points. Drop off 1, drop off 2, drop off 3, drop off 4, right, in order. So they actually click on one of your retargeting ads. They actually go opt in, right? Now they're watching the VSL. They don't buy. Where do you pick up? Pushing them back to the VSL. So you can either run retargeting like that if it makes sense for that type of business, or if you're working with a local business or like more of a brick and mortar type of business, a lot of them run sales based upon a calendar. Okay, so I've gotten really big into cryotherapy, where I basically like freeze myself. Crazy shit. And it's like negative 220 degrees in there. Okay, it helps me recover very quickly. So speaking of like, models, they run this second model. So every calendar or every month, right? Every calendar month, they have a special, one special. Okay, so they, in this example, right, would every month they'd roll out that special via their retargeting, right? So November, it could be, the intro session or the first time you try it, right? It's free, or it's $20 to try. The next time it's like buy a package and save this amount. The next time maybe it's buy one, get one, right? And every month they would just take one ad and roll it out. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. If that worked really, really well and they wanted to optimize it even further, right, then they could take that same offer and they could just come up with more ads, right? Okay, just change the way that the design looks. Okay, they could have a video ad, they could have a text ad. Okay, and the reason that you would maybe want to add more variations in is to help avoid banner blindness. If your ad looks exactly the same, after a week, people are going to be like, yeah, I've seen that ad. They're going to kind of tune it out. Okay, so by adding more adverts in or styles in, you'll help with that banner blindness so that they keep seeing new ads instead of just kind of tuning things out. Okay, so again, that's just retargeting. So then the second type of campaign would obviously be trying to get new prospects, okay, new customers. Okay, so for me, when I run Gmail ads, okay, I target competitors. Okay, and they need to be somewhat large competitors. That can be hard though if you're not in a large market. Okay, so to do this, let's say for a local business, you may need to target like everybody that's in that buying process. So what I mean by that is instead of just targeting, let's say that you're a car dealer. You may need to target every car dealer in a 30-mile radius in order for this to be effective, just because your target is so much smaller. Okay, so what that means is they get an email from one of their competitors, or they get a prospect goes out shopping for a car, they sign up for an email newsletter or whatever, a quote from a dealership, right? Now we can start showing them in another dealership's ads. Okay, so this is next level stuff that frankly 99% of businesses aren't running. At least 99% of them aren't running Gmail ads, and 99% of the ones that aren't running prospecting campaigns inside of Gmail. Okay, this is really bleeding edge type of stuff. Next question. All right, so hi Joe, my question is about email marketing / blast and call drops. I recently joined a monthly subscription that will do the email blast and call drops, etc. Very skeptical about the whole process. In your opinion, do these, I guess he's trying to say, strategies really work, and any advice for a first timer? So do they work? 100% they work. Agency that we have right now, built on voice drops and cold email. Say, at least 50% of the business is built on that. You could build a 7-figure business right now on cold email and voice drops. Brand new agency in the next year. No problem, right? But I need you to fucking understand that the devil's in the details. If your messaging sucks, is it going to work? No, right? If your emails don't get delivered, they can't get read, you can't get customers. If your emails don't get open, they can't get read, right? Like if your voice drops, um, if your voice drop messaging sucks and what you say sucks, guess what? Is it going to work? No. So do cold email and voice drops really work? Fuck yes. We have murdered it with voice drops. And we have helped literally thousands of our customers get at least one customer with voice drops and cold email. But again, the devil's in the details. So if I were you, I would be very adamant about learning cold email and voice drops and how the technical points of it before you ever outsource it to somebody else, because you're just relying on them to get it right. I mean, how many times are they going to get it right? Like, you're putting your entire business on their shoulders. I think that's fucking asinine, right? Like, the devil's in the details. If you want it to work, you got to freaking put in the blood, sweat, and tears to make it work. Does that make sense? And I get I might be being a little harsh or blunt, but dude, like, it's your responsibility at the end of the day. I would never just put that on somebody else's shoulders. Okay. We have at Digital Triggers a list building done for you service where we generate lists that then you can use cold email and voice drops on. Does it really work? Yes, freaking crushes it. Okay, but here's the thing. Like, I pair that done for you list building service, I pair that with a training over 4 weeks, right? It's actually longer than 4 weeks, but that's what we gave everybody or told everybody. 4-week training program that will help you dial in the technicalities here. Okay, so that you can actually crush it and have confidence that you can do it, right? Because if you don't know how to get the messaging right, you don't know the technical pieces, then you're going to eat shit. You just are. Okay, so I think you really need to learn the other side of it, the fundamentals and the technical pieces. And then will it work? Yes, it will work as long as you put in the work. All right, next up. Jamie asks, what is the better business model in your opinion? E-commerce, digital agency, or else? Which model is more sustainable, more hands-off, easy to scale up, etc.? So this is like a loaded gun. This is a loaded shotgun. This is a very, very awesome question, though, at the same token. So I think it's important to kind of break this question down a little bit, because it is not a one-size-fits-all answer, right? It's not. If you are a beginner to digital marketing, you don't know SEO, you don't know PPC, you don't know retargeting, you don't know Google Tag Manager, right? Like, you don't know the major platforms and how to run them, right? You don't know WordPress. If that's you right now, give me a 2. And it's okay. I won't make fun of you. I promise. It's okay to be number 2. I want to give you some really good clarity, though, right now. Like, really good. Like, you will walk away feeling amazing. Give me a 2 if that's you right now. 2? All right, Willie. Hey, Willie, good to see you, man. Steve says 1.5. All right, so even 1.5, I'll take that. If that's you, understand that for me, I think that you're a beginner in this digital marketing world. I would never recommend that you jump into e-commerce as a beginner in this digital marketing world. Okay? Willie says you look amazing, dude. Thanks, boss. Been a long time, man. So I believe that if you're a beginner, if all those things are foreign to you, you wouldn't know how to go in and launch a campaign in the next 30 minutes on any of those platforms and know it was going to do okay, you're a beginner. And that's okay. I'm not saying that to talk down to you. But if you're a beginner, I believe that there's not a better model than learning and creating income at the same time. You learn how to do it, you create income, and that's via an agency, right? Performing services as an agency, right? Where else, right? It's like a freaking high-paid internship. Where else can you be a high-paid intern like this? Have your own business, make your own schedule, right? Learn how to do all the marketing and create an income. So I think if you're a beginner, that you should be doing some type of consultative services, okay, while you are learning how to do things. Should. Why? Because you can make money, make bank, bro, right? You can pay your bills, okay, and you can get paid to learn. I started as a beginner right here, doing this exact same thing, right? Learning and creating my income. And what has always worked best for me, is my agency. My agency has been the most sustainable business that I've ever had, right? My agency has been the most repeatable business that I've ever had. It has been the business that once it's set up and going, the processes may change a little bit, but they don't change that fast. And when you have key people in place in the agency, they go update that documentation. Okay, so for me, what's been the most sustainable for me has been the agency. Okay, that's for me though. Giving my advice to you guys, most scalable, most leverage, what is it? Is it e-com? Is it info products? Is it a software company? Honestly, software company, just get out of your freaking head. So many costs, so much overhead. You're a dime a dozen. Like software companies fucking suck. If you look at the revenue that you make versus your investment and the constant ongoing grind, trust me when I say, like, you'd be better off doing any of the other business models. Most scalable and leverage could really be either e-com or an agency, depending on your execution. Okay. I think that the easiest for me and my skill set is definitely agency. That doesn't mean that I haven't invested in some e-com businesses. I built quite a few e-com businesses. And before we move on, I'll kind of give you guys a little bit of feedback or criteria about e-com though, e-com specifically. So just so you can think it through, I've had e-com businesses that worked for like years and then fell apart in my face. And so I'd like to share kind of my takeaways from that. If I were to do e-com again today, these are the things that I would think about. See the smile. I'd stay away from brand controlled markets. Okay. What I mean by that, to take it a step further, is I wouldn't be drop shipping other people's brands. I've gotten myself in big trouble drop shipping other people's brands, because when you're drop shipping other people's brands, you're completely reliant on them for your markup, what you're going to make, for your supply, right? They also help control the demand. I would focus on creating your own brand. So now you're talking about e-com, creating your own brand, your own packaging, your own formulation, your own product, right? And now there starts to be a whole lot more work involved than like building this e-com drop ship, do 7 figures in the next 4 hours business that everybody seems to be toting these days. Okay, I would not be doing drop shipping. You won't be able to compete. You won't be able to compete with the big box stores, right? How can you offer free shipping on an item that costs you $60 to ship? Can't, right? And you're not going to be able to compete in price either, because they're buying in ridiculous quantities. The other thing with e-com is, so I had a master distributorship with a company, and then some basic distributorships with some other companies, all under one brand, serving one market, and we were crushing it in e-com. This was many, many years ago, shortly after I got my start. Did the agency, that went well, it went great. We kept growing the agency, and the agency resources, when we had extra time in that business, we would work on our e-commerce assets that we were building. So we built up these businesses from scratch. They were going freaking fantastic. We were in markets that weren't fads and weren't just gonna, go like this and then just, completely fall on their face after. We were drop shipping. We were in quote unquote brand controlled markets, and we had, 60% markup, something like that. And guys, it all came crashing down in my face, because it was controlled by those brands. Those brands decide that you're no longer part of their bigger vision for where you're going as a company, you're screwed, right? I didn't own my own brand. I didn't have my own product. And so I just literally lost everything with the e-com. What really sucks is that I was in the middle of actually selling the e-com companies. So they were going to give me a 2-year multiple on earnings, and I lost the distributorship that made the whole business work, right? They just yanked it from me, and instantly I went from having a huge payday as soon as this deal was done to having nothing. It was literally worth nothing. Okay, so those are kind of my learnings from ecom, and I tell you that because I don't want you to feel bad for me. I tell you that because I got burned, raw dogged, really freaking bad, and I don't want that to obviously happen to you. So if you're going to go into ecom, I caution you, think about those things, but make sure that you have huge, crazy margins. Become your own brand and be reliant on fucking no one. That is the only way I would ever get back into ecom. Okay. The other lesson that I want to talk here about the agency, we talked about it earlier in the AMA, is that I've had local agencies and agencies of, kind of different types, honestly, over the years. Okay, I've had agencies where I was the face, right? Where without me, nothing would work. I was the sales guy, right? I was the guy that then was the go-to or the in-between person and had all the meetings while fulfillment was happening. When a project was wrapped up, I was the one as well, right? Getting the sign off and everything, where literally, if it wasn't for me, they wouldn't know anybody else in the business, right? And all paths led to me. Trust me when I say that sucks. Okay. I've also had businesses like the agency I have right now, where I wasn't the face. By all means, I sold a couple of deals here and there, but in the grand scheme of things, out of all the total sales, I sold maybe 2% of the sales, right? That's where it's at. Okay. So if you can build it in a way where not all roads lead to you, right, then by all means, you'll have the opportunity down the road to not only sell and to exit, but it'll be a much more scalable and leveraged business for you while you're in it as well. All right, next up, Ron asks, how worried do we have to be that Google will find content that has been spun and is not original? So this is a great question. It's kind of a gray hat question, but I'm happy to talk about this. I've been talking about spun content for literally years. So at the end of the day, with spun content, short term, you have very, very little liability with spun content. Long-term liability is really what's questionable. Okay. Inside of local, for example, and ranking for local business types of terms, we have built websites, complete spinning, ranked in Google, in the 3-pack, in organic pack with spun content, and we spun out a site in 30 different cities, all with the same spun content, all ranked, or 95% of them ranked, right? The question, and they ranked for years. Really, the question is, long term, what's the liability? Liability is it's going to get smacked at some point. It's only really a matter of time, is kind of the viewpoint that I would have. So long term, I get it changed. Okay. If you need to leverage no content or no content costs and crank out some sites and see some fruit for your labor before you invest more money in it, I'm fine with that. Growth hack it. Do your thing, man. Just be aware of the potential long-term liability. All right, next up, last question here. Last question, pay-per-call question. You've made it clear that you get many leads via Google My Business. What about leads from web pages that you rank? Are web pages a valuable channel for lead gen, or is there value in ranking GMBs primarily? 90% of a website's value in pay-per-call, for me in the model of ranking in maps, if you're ranking in maps, 90% of the model, 90% of the revenue will come from the GMB ranking. Only 10%, no matter what you do, organic rankings, ranking your ass off for all kinds of stuff, YouTube stuff as well. Let's say ranking third-party websites and citation sites and maps as well, or inside Google Organic as well. You're going to probably be at 90% are coming from GMB. 90% of your calls, 90% of your revenue. Maybe 80 if you freaking crush it everywhere. Okay. So if you follow like an organic model for pay-per-call, the GMB is where most of your volume is going to come from. Okay, that's where most of your volume is going to come from. But that's like an atypical situation, understand. Okay, so a different situation is not all local queries bring up a map pack. If there's no map pack, obviously none of the revenue is going to come from Google Maps because it's not there. All right. That is it. That is it. I hope you guys enjoyed today. I'm not rushing off yet, but I do need 2 favors if you guys enjoyed today. I hope you guys like the keto rant and the kind of personal kind of rants that I did. I am sure that you guys can see that I'm very, very passionate about that stuff because of the impact that it's had on me and my life and like my happiness in every day. I'm a very different person. And so I hope that that can rub off on you. 2 things, two things I need before you leave. We'll also announce who won the giveaway. First things first, I need you to subscribe on YouTube. I need you to subscribe on YouTube. Okay, I am focused on really, really building the YouTube channel. Okay, so if you're logged into Google, I can't imagine almost any of you aren't. I'm going to send you this link. Okay, it's going to take you right here to this screenshot. Okay, and I just want you to hit the subscribe button. Okay, this is going to keep you guys up to date on what is happening with me. What is happening to Digital Triggers? And for me, I have kind of had a realization with this as of late. All of you guys obviously get my emails. That's why you're here. That's how you heard about it. What happens if tomorrow I couldn't send you guys emails? Serious, what would happen? I couldn't deliver you guys amazing content and we would be out of touch. Okay, so please go subscribe so that you guys get the latest and the greatest and the best from me. Okay, next up, second thing, okay, a question. A question for me to answer. Question for me to answer. So guys, these AMAs, I have made the commitment to do them. Okay, but I can only do them as long as you guys provide questions for the AMAs. Obviously, otherwise, I can't I can't answer questions. Duh, Joe, obvious statement. All right, I'm putting in, guys, the link where you guys can fill out this form. If you guys could click on it, it looks huge. And make sure that the link actually works. I put it in the chat. Seems to be working for me. Is that working? I'd be bummed. Yeah, subbed and belled. Yeah, so another point is when you subscribe, definitely hit the notification bell so you actually get an alert. So I don't know why YouTube did this, but you got to subscribe and hit the notification bell, or when I upload a video, you won't get notified. Kind of freaking retarded. Okay, so here's the deal. For the giveaway winners, again, giving away today $1,000 in American Express travel privileges. Showed the wrong side. So giveaway winners. Giveaway winners. Here's the thing. Number 1, subscribe. Number 2, go to YouTube. Or number 2, go to the AMA form and ask a question. Okay? Do that, and I'm going to pick from these who's going to get the monies. So if somebody asks like an amazing question, right, or like really put some thought and some effort into it, I might give you like $500 instead of just $250, or heck, I may give you $1,000. I don't know. We'll see. So I'll give you guys a second to go do that.